Have you ever imagined traveling to Florence, the artistic heart of Italy, only to miss out on the hidden gems that no tourist guide ever mentions? Well, that's exactly what happens to most travelers. They arrive in the city full of dreams, but end up stuck in the same old cliches. Now, imagine discovering that you only have 24 hours in this European jewel. Could you really get to know Florence in such a short time? Believe me, not only is it possible, but you'll also have an experience far more incredible than what your friends had, and they'll never admit what they missed. In this quick and daring itinerary, I'll show you the secret spots, those little corners that locals keep to themselves. Nothing here is conventional, and it might even bother the seasoned tourists, but I can guarantee one thing. When your 24 hours are up, you'll leave with the certainty that you've experienced Florence like few ever do. So, are you ready to discover what to do on this short but unforgettable trip? If the answer is yes, take a deep breath and join me as we uncover Florence's best-kept secrets. How about visiting a place that holds the stories of some of the greatest minds to ever pass through Italy? Exactly, we're talking about the Basilica of Santa Croce, one of Florence's most fascinating and least obvious spots. Inside, you won't just admire the spectacular Gothic architecture, you'll feel like you're traveling through time. Imagine stepping into a place where figures like Michelangelo, Galileo, and Machiavelli rest. It's almost like having a conversation with them. The feeling is so strong. Oh, and don't forget to observe the magnificent frescoes that tell detailed stories in vivid colors. A true history lesson painted on the walls. A tip: bring a notebook and jot down something that inspires you there. Great ideas often arise in places like this. And since Florence is full of these hidden treasures, right after visiting this marvel, it's time for a short stroll to a super curious place you've probably never seen on any other itinerary. Ready to discover the next Florentine secret? After so much history, it's time for a unique experience, one you'd hardly find anywhere else in Europe. Florence hides little secrets like the wine windows, called Boccette del Vino by the Italians. That's right, small windows through which Florentines during the Renaissance sold wine directly to customers without having to open the entire door. The cool thing about these little windows is that many of them have recently been reactivated, bringing back a tradition as old as it is fun. Imagine the scene. You're walking peacefully through the charming streets of the city, and suddenly, a window opens to serve you a local wine. A true master tip for your itinerary is to try a classic Chianti, the typical wine of Tuscany. And speaking of walking and discovering special places, the next stop on this Florence itinerary will transport you directly to the past, offering a true history lesson. Want to find out what this iconic place is? It's time to explore the historical and political heart of Florence, the Palazzo Vecchio. Once the residence of the powerful Medici family and now the city's town hall, this palace breathes stories from the time when Florence dominated Europe's cultural and political scene. A true architectural treasure, full of secrets and fascinating legends. Inside the Palazzo Vecchio, you'll find the imposing Hall of the 500, where you'll literally feel the weight of the historical decisions made in that space. An unmissable tip for your itinerary is to climb up to the palace's tower. Yes, it's quite a few steps, but the panoramic view of the city makes every step worth it. From up there, you'll understand exactly why Florence enchants so many travelers. But wait, because the adventure is just beginning. Right next door is an iconic square filled with open-air works of art. Can you guess what the next destination will be? Leaving the Palazzo Vecchio, you practically stumble upon one of Florence's most iconic spots, the Piazza della Signoria. This is the kind of place where you stop, take a deep breath, and think, wow, I'm really here. The political and cultural center of the city since the Renaissance, the square still pulses with incredible energy and is a true open-air gallery. There, a perfect replica of Michelangelo's David seems to watch your every step, while Perseus proudly holds Medusa's head in an impressive sculpture. And, of course, don't forget to stroll through the Loggia dei Lanzi, where you can admire Renaissance sculptures as if you were casually walking through an open-air museum. Oh, but wait a minute. If you think you've already seen a lot of art here, just wait until you discover what's coming next. I'll give you a hint. We're talking about one of the most important museums not just in Italy, but in all of Europe. After diving into the open-air art of Piazza della Signoria, It's time to visit a place that can't be left out of any Florence itinerary, the Galleria degli Uffizi. And listen up, my dear traveler. We're talking about one of the most important museums in the world. It's no exaggeration to say it's like stepping into a live class on European art history. Walking through the gallery's corridors, you'll come face to face with masterpieces like Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, as well as fascinating paintings by geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. A true parade of talent that will transform your trip into something unforgettable. A valuable tip: book your tickets in advance, as many people leave it to the last minute and end up missing out. But hold on, because Florence still has incredible surprises in store. Let's cross a place that survived World War II and is the ultimate symbol of the city. Come with me to discover it. Now that you've filled your eyes with so much art at the Galleria degli Uffizi, how about crossing one of Florence's greatest symbols? The Ponte Vecchio isn't just a medieval bridge, it's a living piece of Italy's history. While other bridges fell during World War II, it stood strong, a true monument to Florentine resilience. Walking across it, you'll notice charming shops full of jewelry and gold pieces carefully crafted by hand. A practical tip: take this moment to secure that special souvenir from your trip, something unique to remember this incredible European itinerary. And, of course, don't forget to stop for a few minutes to admire the Arno River, the perfect backdrop for unforgettable photos. Speaking of traditions and memories, have you heard of a famous statue that promises good luck and ensures you'll return to the city one day? Come with me to discover this fun and meaningful tradition.
If Florence has already enchanted you, imagine exploring it with an optimized itinerary. I prepared an ebook with a complete itinerary and unmissable tips. Download it now using the link in the description and in the pinned comment and transform your trip.
You know that fun and symbolic tradition that can't be missing from any Florence itinerary? Well, we're talking about the Fontana del Porcellino, a friendly boar statue located close to the hustle and bustle of the historic center. Locals say that if you rub the boar's shiny snout and toss a coin into the fountain, you'll have guaranteed luck and, of course, the promise of returning to the city. And here's the thing: you might find it funny, but it's a real tradition. People from all over the world stop by every day to secure that extra bit of luck. So, a practical tip: keep some coins in your pocket to live this moment that blends folklore and fun. Plus, it's a great chance to snap a humorous photo for your travel memories. But wait, because Florence always has more surprises in store. How about visiting a historic residence full of glamour, luxury, and art, once owned by the most powerful family in Tuscany? Let's go? Now let's step into the luxurious and fascinating world of the Medici family by visiting the majestic Palazzo Pitti. This palace isn't just another historic building. It's a true symbol of the power and wealth that Florence once represented for all of Europe. As you walk through its immense corridors decorated with impressive paintings, it's easy to imagine what it was like to live surrounded by so much beauty. And you know what's even better? If you have extra time in your 24-hour itinerary, the perfect tip is to explore the Boboli Gardens, located right behind the palace. These gardens are so beautiful and well-maintained that they look like movie sets. There, you can take a strategic break, relax, and reflect on everything you've experienced so far on this incredible trip. But hold on, because Florence's secrets aren't over yet. If you want to discover a church that was once a market and is now a hidden treasure, stay with me as I tell you all about it. You know those places that few people know about, but hold an incredible story? Well, that's exactly the case with the Church of Orsamachil, which, get this, was once an ancient grain market. That's right, from market to church. It's not every day you see such a transformation on your travel itinerary, right? When you arrive, pay special attention to the facade. Magnificent sculptures by renowned artists like Donatello add a touch of elegance and mystery to the place. Inside, the scene becomes even more impressive, with details so beautiful they'll make you want to examine every corner. A practical tip: take your time here, as every detail reveals something fascinating about Florence's medieval history. Oh, but do you think you've seen it all? Not even close. The city still has surprises tied directly to its commercial past, symbolizing abundance and prosperity. Curious to know where? You know when you pass by a historic monument and don't even realize its importance? That's exactly what happens with the column of abundance, an almost forgotten symbol that represents all the prosperity and wealth Florence once had. Located right in the center of the bustling Piazza della Repubblica, this column recalls the times when the city was the commercial heart of Europe. When you're there, take a moment to imagine what life was like for the merchants who traded goods from all corners of the world, bringing fortune and power to the city. A precious tip for your itinerary. Use this moment to reflect on how the history of abundance is deeply connected to the roots of the Florence you're exploring. But speaking of admiring places from above and seeing everything more clearly, how about climbing to one of the city's most beautiful spots with a simply spectacular view? Come with me to find out where. Ready for another unforgettable adventure? That's exactly what Giotto's bell tower promises. An essential part of the Duomo complex, this bell tower will challenge your stamina. After all, it's exactly 414 steps to the top and no elevator. But don't worry, every step is rewarded with a view of Florence, so impressive it looks like a postcard. Up there, while catching your breath, take the time to admire the majestic dome of the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, the red rooftops, and the narrow streets that look like mazes. A valuable tip for your itinerary. Take it slow, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to feel all the energy that only Florence offers. And since you're already there, practically next to another fundamental historical landmark, how about discovering the next destination, one of the city's oldest and most impressive buildings? I bet it'll be worth it. And now, my dear traveler, we've arrived at one of Florence's oldest and most emblematic places, the Baptistry of St. John. Looking at it, it's impossible not to feel that little shiver. After all, you're standing before centuries of living history. The Romanesque structure impresses with its simplicity and grandeur, a perfect balance that few buildings achieve. But do you know what attracts visitors the most? The famous Gates of Paradise, made of bronze, detailed in a way that seems unbelievable. They say even Michelangelo was impressed by the beauty of these doors. A practical tip is to observe each panel carefully, as they narrate biblical stories with details that could fill an entire book. And speaking of impressive constructions, the next stop is simply Florence's ultimate symbol, a true masterpiece you need to see up close. Are you ready? Finally, the moment has come to visit the place everyone dreams of seeing when they think of a trip to Florence. The majestic Santa Maria del Fiore, better known simply as the Duomo. With its iconic dome designed by Brunelleschi, it completely dominates the city's skyline, making you feel part of something grand as soon as you approach. And here's the cool part. Entry to the cathedral is free, but if you want to take the experience to another level, literally, you can climb to the top of the dome. It's quite a climb, but up there you'll have one of Europe's most incredible panoramic views. A surefire tip is to make this climb at the end of the day, when the sunset paints Florence in unforgettable colors. But if you think this itinerary is almost over, hold on. Florence still has an authentic and very typical shopping experience in store for you, close to a historic site. Let's find out where it is. After so many historical discoveries, it's the perfect time to explore one of Florence's most bustling and lively squares, Piazza di San Lorenzo. Not just because of its proximity to the Basilica of San Lorenzo, but because here you can dive into an authentic shopping experience, full of colors, aromas, and local traditions. Imagine being able to personally choose typical products like genuine leather goods, handmade wallets, and souvenirs that truly embody Tuscany. A valuable tip for your itinerary. Take the time to chat with the vendors, who often have interesting stories and love sharing secrets about the region. But hold on, because there's more. Just a short walk away is a basilica with a modest facade, but an incredible artistic treasure inside. Want to discover another unmissable secret of Florence? Then keep following along. You know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. The Basilica of San Lorenzo is the perfect example of that in Florence. From the outside, you might not even realize you're standing before one of the city's most important churches, but once inside, the surprise is guaranteed. There, you'll discover a true artistic and architectural treasure, closely tied to the history of the powerful Medici family. As you explore the basilica, pay special attention to the Medici Chapel, a Renaissance masterpiece that leaves every visitor in awe. The richness of the details, from the colorful marbles to the impressive frescoes, is simply breathtaking. A practical tip for your itinerary: set aside enough time here, as every corner has something fascinating to reveal. And speaking of authentic Italian surprises, how about visiting a place that combines typical gastronomy, fresh products, and a relaxed, welcoming atmosphere? Curious? Now that you've explored so much history and art, there's no better way to end on a high note, or should I say, with cheese and wine, than at Il Mercato Centrale Firenze. This covered market is the kind of place every smart traveler needs on their itinerary. After all, who wouldn't want to taste authentic Italian delights in a vibrant, laid-back atmosphere? Imagine strolling through aisles filled with stalls offering fresh pasta made on the spot, regional cheeses, pizzas straight from the oven, and even seafood prepared right before your eyes. A practical and delicious tip: choose small dishes from various stalls and create your own gourmet tasting. That way, you truly experience the flavor of Tuscany in every bite. But hey, this fantastic gastronomic experience perfectly wraps up your day in Florence, though it might leave you wanting more. Who knows what the future holds for your next adventure? Now that you know the most incredible and secret spots Florence has to offer in just 24 hours, the question is, are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and truly transform your trip into something unforgettable? How many times have you postponed a unique experience like this, saying you don't have enough time or that maybe one day? Stop now and think. What's stopping you from living intensely today? You deserve more than just stories told by others. You deserve to create your own adventures. Put this itinerary into practice and share with me in the comments. Which of these places are you most excited to visit? Are you ready to break out of the routine and turn your next trip into a story worth telling? And, of course, if you enjoyed everything you discovered here, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any valuable tips that could transform your travels, and who knows, maybe even your life. So, are you ready to start this journey? Want to dive even deeper into Florence's history? Then don't miss our other video, where we explore the city's fascinating trajectory and its most iconic spots in detail.